What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTO and Knives Gear, and today we are going to be taking a look and doing the full review of this beautiful piece of work. This is the Heritic Knives Wraith. This was loaned to the channel by my good buddy Max. I will have his Instagram kind of popped right here. It will also be linked down below. Definitely go check him out, give him a follow. He's got a really nice collection, takes really good pictures. His Instagram is just really fun to go through. And he's just a supporter of the channel. He's been a supporter of the channel for a while. He's been on the edge with me and Kevin as far as in the comment section. He's just really such a good guy. And this was the first time I saw this. He posted this on our Shadow Rangers Facebook group. And I was like, dude, I really like that. And he was willing to send it over to me, and I could not be happier. Thank you so very much. The first time I did see this knife was on the Knife Sergeant's channel. He got this, and I was like, whoa, that is cool. And it is, guys. I mean, it is different. And the reason that it's different is because this is a carbon fiber integral. I mean, look at that. Now, I have heard of carbon fiber integrals before, but I have never seen one. There are a few models out there. This one is the first one that I've handled, and I have to say it's freaking amazing. It does have a titanium lock bar, and it has a titanium bolster, and it's a flipper, manual. Now, they also make an automatic version, but I have no need for that. I love a manual operated knife. So this one is definitely the one that I would choose. And it's just sexy. I mean, look at the flamed tie on the pocket clip, which also is on the lock bar, on the bolster. Just, it's like a bronze color titanium, lightly with that heat anode. Oh, it's really nice. This thing is just, I could sit there and put this in a case and look at it all day long, is what I could do, because it's that gorgeous. It does come with a ceramic detent ball in the pocket clip. I really do like that because it works really well as far as going in your pocket and out of your pocket. It kind of does that snap, good retention, and snap out without like just, clamping on where you just feel it. I really enjoy the ceramic ball pocket clips. I kind of wish more knives would do that. This one does a really good job because it sits way over here. It does have a lanyard hole, but as you can see, the pocket clip, it doesn't really take precedent over that. It does sit, not really deep carry, but it sits deep enough, I believe, for most folks. And then, of course, you have the lanyard hole there. It's kind of the only way they could have done this, or at least one of the better ways, for the actual lanyard hole, because it being integral as far as actually doing a bar back here, which I usually prefer. Might not have been as easy to do. It also continues that flame work on the pivot collar, which has a really nice look to the pivot here on both sides, not just your plain Jane pivot. The hardware looks nice. Has these 3 bolts that kind of look like a little bit of overkill, but I do like the design with the black hardware, with the carbon fiber. I think it just looks really nice. How's the action? So the action on the close, once it gets past that detent, is so freaking super smooth. Comes down on your thumb and then just closes like that. Amazing. The action on the flipper is a little light, but I'm giving this a pass. So it definitely does that number. If you're just barely flipping it, for the detent test, it does that. But it's not really a fair test, but I do it on all of them just because it kind of gives me an idea. I mean, because if I do it with this knife, which is the Holt Haptic, it passes that test. And that kind of gives me an idea of where that detent lies. Now, if you flip this thing out, it's going to come out. I mean, if you half-ass it, it's not. But how often do we really half-ass it? I mean, we get it out of our pocket and we flick that thing and it comes out. It just doesn't flip out with all the authority in the world. But on the closing action, it is absolutely amazing. And one of the reasons I kind of give it a pass is because flipper-only knives get boring to me. You'll hear that more and more from me because I have quite a few flipper-only knives that I've got to review that are really nice. But as I'm carrying them, they do get kind of boring. This one, because of the coating, gives you enough grip to kind of put your finger there and flick it out with your middle finger by just doing that number. That is kind of a game changer for me, because I was able to deploy this knife in a way that I really enjoy, even though I have to kind of give it some wrist. And I had 2 different ways to do it. Now, is it made for that? No. Can you do it because of the light detent? Yes. It's just a thing. The flipper works like it's supposed to. It doesn't just fly out like a lot of other ones, but it works. Especially if you do like I did there, the push button. It really comes out in rockets. If you do the light switch, it's just a little bit lighter. So my suggestion would be do the push button, because it comes out a lot better. How does this thing carry? It carries like a dream with that pocket clip. The weight on this guy, we'll go over specs in a little bit, but the weight is very, very reasonable. I mean, it's a full carbon fiber, integral. That's just amazing to me what these guys can do, because I've handled and owned some titanium integrals, never carbon fiber. I just think it's freaking sweet. They even went as far as to do some lines back here on the back to kind of help you with the grip. The ergonomics on this guy are just absolutely amazing. It does have this little area here, which some people call a flipper choil, which you can choke up on and use. I never really did it. I always put my hand back here, but this handle gives me enough grip and enough length for my big old hands where it's really, really comfortable. And usually on flipper knives, my finger here has to dig into that jimping because I don't have enough handle to really get behind. This one I do. I feel locked in. It feels really, really comfortable, and every single grip. Now, of course, I only did very, very light cutting. I usually do cut tests, but I'm not going to do those cut tests because this is Max's baby, and I'm not going to just sit there and just cut unnecessarily. However, I did cut with this thing, and it cuts really well. It is about 23 thousandths or so behind the edge here, a little bit thicker, but it does have your saber grind here, flat grind on the Tonto. Really nice secondary point on that Tonto, which really, really works well for opening up packages and whatnot. You've got some robustness out to the tip that if you are going to do some stabbing tasks, you don't have to worry about that tip breaking. These are hand ground and hand sharpened from what I believe from Heritic knives. So, you're getting a lot here for your money, because these things, from what I saw, and I don't know how, I don't think you can buy these brand new right now. At least I didn't see that, which is really a bummer. But when they were new, they were like $460. To me, that's an absolute smoking deal for this knife. For a integral with carbon fiber, titanium. I don't even think we talked about the steel choice. This is LMAX steel. The design, the extra touches that you get, I mean, you're going to pay $450 for a new XM18. You're going to pay $450 or more for a new Strider. Secondary market is you're not going to get that, but if you were to get one on the drop. So the fact that this one is just a tad bit more expensive than those options, I think that's a freaking steal. I kind of hope they make more of these. I'm not sure if they are. One website did say discontinued, but I think whenever they have out of stock, they just always put discontinued. I'm not going to tell you the retailer, but it just ticks me off. But it may be discontinued. I don't know. Now, I also have not seen many of these on the secondary market, because I bet people get them, they really like them, and they want to keep them. But, it is what it is. I'm not sure if you can find these. I will try to find a link down below if there's a retailer that has them in stock. And if they don't, maybe they'll come back in. I don't know. So without the cut test, let's go ahead, turn the camera around, and get some size comparisons and some specs on this beautiful, freaking smooth as hell Heritic Wraith. Stay tuned. And here we go. And I think I called this the Wrath. It is the Wraith. I have problems with words. So anyways, I probably said that a couple of different times. Pay no attention to the dumbass in the front. All right. Look at this. Just look at this amazing flame tie. I mean, that just looks super cool to me. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I love it. There is your carbon fiber, which is nicely milled all the way around. Of course, in integral, these little lines really tickle my fancy. I'm not sure what kind of tool they use to do that. Nice edges broke down. There is no transition as far as like your bolster right here. The transitions are absolutely stunning. There's your nice pivot collar. Get you a good look at that. And your pocket clip with the ceramic ball. Just amazing, guys. It really works well. Now, as you can see, this one does sit a little bit above the carbon fiber. I'm not sure if that is, the way they designed it. It probably is. This is the way that it came. And it doesn't really give, it's a little bit above it, but you can't really even hear it. Sometimes that bugs me. But, this one really works well in the pocket, and I didn't notice it, so that's good. Obviously, right down the middle. Just a sexy, sexy knife. What does this thing measure? Well, the overall length is about 8.695. It's a big one. It's a Kyle-sized knife, guys. It's a blade length of 3.625 and a cutting edge of 3.625 because of the way the bolster and the blade kind of come to the exact same area. Can't talk. Gee whiz. It has about 170 thousandths on the blade thickness, and like I said, about 23 thousandths behind the edge with that kind of blade stock. I think that's totally acceptable. It is DLC coated, and it weighs around 5 ounces, maybe a little bit more. Let's double check that since we have the scale out. I mean, because it's a carbon fiber integral, guys, right? So you're really going to cut down on weight because of most of it being carbon fiber. So right at 5 ounces, I think that's so nice for nearly, like an 8.7 inch knife. That is amazing. It carries amazing because of that. It's still slim enough to feel great in the pocket, but wide enough to fill out my hands and give you enough blade length to do whatever you want. Let's do some size comparisons. Let's go ahead. We'll put it up against the Hinderer XM18. There you go. It is definitely, this is the XM18 3.5 inch. Definitely larger than that. We'll put it up against what would be a XM24. This is the Strider SMF, which those are about the same size. So as you can see, pretty close, or a lot closer to that size. You've got a little bit more on the Strider. But as far as overall length, you definitely got different ergos. This is definitely so very comfortable in the hand. The way they've got this generous finger control right here, and then this is pretty much neutral and just sweeps down. It just really fills the hand out well. Doesn't feel as locked in as something like the Strider, but it feels amazing. One other knife, let's go ahead and put it up against, is pretty similar. Here it is against the Vero Engineering Synapse XL. Pretty similar in overall size and thickness, everything. These are pretty similar knives. The camera angle kind of sucks on this because it looks like this is just totally bigger, but it's really not. I got to try to figure that out as far as my size comparisons. But, if I think it's a full-size knife, but I don't think it's absolutely gargantuan. I think that it's going to work for most people's hand size. Now, if you are definitely a bug-out fan, then you probably won't like this because it is big. But, I mean, hell, 5 ounces for this size of a knife and the materials that you get, I think it's a great deal. I think it's a great carry, and it's just beautiful. I mean, it's pocket jewelry, that is for sure. Pocket jewelry that will cut, pocket jewelry that will impress as you work, because it definitely cuts. Like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of cutting because this is his baby, but holy crap. They put a really nice edge on this. Don't know if I showed. Here you go. It is the Heritic logo there with the LMAX steel on that side, and then totally sterile on this side. Just an absolutely gorgeous knife, and I really appreciate Max for allowing me to get this on the channel and show you guys, because this was an absolute dream, oh my gosh, to carry and to show off, because nobody around here had ever seen a carbon fiber integral, and the fact that I was able to show some of the guys at work and some of my friends who are now getting into knives, they were really impressed, and I thank you so much, Max, for your generosity. Guys, stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.